In the heart of Worthenbury, the story of Cottage Gorse Farm, later Highfield Hall, is not just about land and buildings, but about the people who called it home. Across generations, families, servants and labourers wove a tapestry of rural life, their stories preserved in census records and local newspapers. This is a journey into the heart of a community, where every name tells a tale. The main farmhouse was the centre of activity, its occupants changing with the decades, but always shaping the farm's destiny. In 1861, Richard Higgins, a 50-year-old farmer, managed 100 acres with his 50-year-old wife, Margaret Higgins. Their household included young relatives: Alfred Love, their nephew, aged 11, and Martha Maddox, their niece, aged 5. And a team of servants: Mary Griffiths, aged 24, a dairy servant; Mary Cooper, aged 15, a house servant; Joseph Green, aged 34, an agricultural labourer; and 16-year-old Thomas Cooper, who was a carter. The farm was a bustling hub where family and staff worked side by side. By 1871, the farm had expanded to 204 acres under Thomas Griffiths, aged 34, with Mary Ann Griffiths, aged 26, and a new group of servants: Sarah Williams, aged 24, Thomas Taylor, also aged 24, Joseph Beddoe, aged 16, and Thomas Green, aged just 11 years old. Each census reveals the importance of hired help in sustaining the farm's operations. In 1881, Thomas Neild, aged 29, led the farm, supported by John Meredith, aged 15, as a waggoner, Levi Dalston, aged 16, a cowman, and Elizabeth Thomas, aged 20, as a domestic servant. The farm's workforce was diverse, with roles ranging from animal care to household management. By 1891, the Jones family became central. Francis Jones, aged 59, and Anne Jones, aged 59, raised a large family with children helping on the farm. There was Francis James Jones, aged 34, John T. Jones, aged 29, Jemima A. Jones, aged 26, George T. Jones, aged 23, Mary Ann Jones, aged 20, and Susanna Jones, aged 18, all living and working on the farm. By 1901, Anne Jones was now a widow, aged 69, and running the farm with her children and wider relatives. Eldest son Francis James Jones is aged 45, George T. Jones, aged 33, and Mary Ann, aged 30, are all living at home, along with granddaughter Florence M. Woolley, aged 6. Servants Elizabeth Williams, aged 30, and 14-year-old Joseph Roberts help with the running of the house and farm. By 1911, Francis James Jones is now aged 55. He was the farmer, with his mother, aged 79, sister Mary Ann, aged 39, nephew Francis Henry Woolley, aged 17, niece Florence Mary Woolley, aged 16, and a domestic servant, Dinah Davis, aged 14, forming a multi-generational household. The Joneses' story is one of continuity, adaptation, and family resilience. In 1921, the Jones legacy continued with Francis James Jones, aged 65, and his nephew Francis Henry Woolley, aged 27, as farmers, supported by nieces of Florence Mary Woolley, aged 26, as housekeeper, and Harriet Dorothy Woolley, aged 24, working as a dairymaid. The farm was not just a workplace, but a home where kinship and labour intertwined. Surrounding the farmhouse were the clay cottages, each with its own story, homes to agricultural labourers, their families, and a rotating cast of servants. In 1861, in one of the cottages, we have Samuel Cooper, aged 45, who's an agricultural labourer. He's living with his 41-year-old wife, Emma Cooper, and 6 children: their ages ranging from 13 to 2 years old. Next door we have Richard Pierce, aged 62, who's also an agricultural labourer, residing with his wife Mary Pierce, aged 61, and 26-year-old daughter Margaret Pierce, who cared for her mother. In 1871, in one of the cottages, we have Samuel Maddox, aged 29. He is a farmer of 87 acres. He lived with his sister Anne Maddox, aged 23, and she is the housekeeper. Their 60-year-old aunt Margaret Higgins and a team of servants, Elizabeth Cooper, aged 17, George Davis, 16, and Ellis Davis, aged 18. In cottage 2, there is the Cooper family, with Samuel Cooper, aged 55, now a mill labourer, his wife Emma, aged 57, and 3 sons, David, aged 21, who worked as a waggoner, 12-year-old Frederick, and 8-year-old George Henry. And we also have a third cottage where a Mary Pierce, aged 71, who is a widow, lived, and her son John Pierce, aged 28, and he is a labourer. On the 1881 census, in one cottage we have Elizabeth Prince, aged 70. She is described as a land occupier with 2 cows. She lived with her son Thomas Prince, aged 30, who is an agricultural labourer, her 38-year-old daughter Mary Jones, who is a widow, and 3 grandchildren, Mary E. Jones, aged 8, 4-year-old William Jones, and Anne Jones, who is just 1 month old. Next door, in cottage number 2, we have Jane Jones, aged 63, and she is unmarried and a dressmaker. And in the third cottage, we have the Thelwell family. George Thelwell, aged 21, who's an agricultural labourer, his wife Elizabeth, aged 22, and their young son John, aged 1 year. Sadly, George Thelwell died at just 28 years of age. On the 1891 census, in cottage 1, we have a 40-year-old William Kerrison, who's an agricultural labourer, his 43-year-old sister Jane, who is the housekeeper, and their 85-year-old father, George Kerrison, who is a retired farmer. And next door, we have John Jervis, who is a 23-year-old coal miner, his wife Frances, aged 22, and their 1-year-old son Tom. In 1901, in one of the cottages, we still have William Kerrison, now aged 50 and listed as a farmer. He is living with his 38-year-old cousin, Mary J. Pate. And in the second cottage, there is a Harry Humphreys and his young family. Harry is 26 and works as a stockman on the farm. His wife is named Sarah and she is 24. They have 2 young children, 3-year-old Louisa and 1-year-old William H. Humphreys. By 1911, there are 2 new families in the cottages. John Thelwell, aged 37, a farm labourer, his 40-year-old wife Sarah and their 5 children, William Henry, Sarah Ellen, Mary, Edward and Thomas, whose ages range from 10 down to 1. Next door is William Dulson, aged 57, who is a farmer, his wife Sarah, aged 58, and an aunt named Hannah Matthews, who is 96 years of age. In 1921, we still have the Thelwells and Dulsons living side by side. John Thelwell is now aged 49 and a farm labourer. Sarah is 51 and does home duties. John's mother is living with them. She is aged 75, and also 4 children, Thomas, aged 11, Edward, aged 12, Lizzie, aged 7, and young Joseph, aged 5. Next door is William Dulson, aged 65, still working as a farmer, and his 68-year-old wife, Sarah. The cottages were more than dwellings. They were the backbone of the farm's labour force, places where generations of workers lived, loved and contributed to the community's survival. Servants played a vital role in both the farmhouse and cottages, Dairy servants, housekeepers, cowmen, wagoners and domestic servants ensured the smooth running of daily life. Their names: Mary Griffiths, Mary Cooper, Elizabeth Thomas, Dinah Davis, Elizabeth Cooper, George Davis, Ellis Davis and many more appear throughout the records, a testament to their indispensable contributions. These individuals often moved between roles and households, reflecting the fluid nature of rural employment. Their work was demanding, their presence essential, and their stories woven into the fabric of Cottage Gorse Farm. The census records reveal a community defined by kinship and cooperation. Families grew, split and reformed, with children taking on farm duties, women managing households and elders passing down knowledge. The cottages and farmhouse were not isolated units, but interconnected homes bound by shared labour and mutual support. The story of Cottage Gorse Farm is not only told through census records and family memories, but also through the headlines of local newspapers, moments of drama, controversy and tragedy that brought the farm into the public eye. In August 1935, the Chester Chronicle reported a dramatic incident involving Frank Edward Brereton, a farmer at Cottage Gorse Farm. Brereton was charged with dangerous driving after a near collision with a bus on a sharp S-bend near Malpass. The courtroom scene was almost theatrical. Witnesses described how Brereton's car mounted the bank, crossed the road and became wedged between a telegraph pole and a hedge. The bus driver, forced onto the grass verge to avoid a head-on crash, testified that a passenger and her child were thrown from their seats. Brereton claimed his steering had locked, causing him to lose control. The charge of dangerous driving was dismissed, but he was fined for driving without due care and attention, a story that captured the risks and realities of rural life in the age of the motor car. 2 decades later, in June 1956, the Liverpool Daily Post and Nantwich Chronicle covered a case that cast a shadow over the farm's reputation. Thomas Henry Brereton, then the farmer at Cottage Gorse, was fined £30 for causing unnecessary suffering to 10 sheep by neglecting to provide proper care. The sheep, found straying and in an emaciated state, were described as starving, lice-infested and with matted wool. Brereton, who denied the charges, argued that he and his son inspected the sheep twice daily and that the animals' poor condition was due to the state of the impounding box, not neglect. The court, however, was unconvinced, noting Brereton's record of previous convictions for animal straying and motoring offences. The bench called it a nasty case, reflecting the pressures and scrutiny faced by farmers in the modern era. Tragedy struck in June 1967, as reported by the Chester Chronicle. Thomas Henry Brereton was found dead in a well on the farm by his younger son Richard. The inquest concluded that he had taken his own life while his mind was disturbed. The funeral, held at Worthenbury Parish Church, was a sombre occasion, marking the end of the Brereton family's long association with Cottage Gorse Farm. The community gathered to pay their respects, a reminder of the deep ties between the land and those who worked it. Despite these hardships, the story of Cottage Gorse Farm is one of resilience and renewal. Through triumph and tragedy, Cottage Gorse Farm stood as a witness to the changing tides of rural life. Its story, captured in census records, family memories and the headlines of local newspapers, is a testament to the endurance of community and the ever-evolving landscape of the British countryside. As the decades passed, the rhythms of rural life at Cottage Gorse Farm began to change. The once bustling farmhouse, now known as Highfield Hall, eventually fell silent. Years of vacancy led to disrepair, and the property, once the heart of a thriving agricultural community, stood as a quiet witness to the passage of time. But the story does not end there. In recent years, new chapters have begun to unfold. Planning permission was granted to transform Highfield Hall into a substantial 5-bedroom home, designed to take full advantage of the breathtaking views over the Dee Valley and the Welsh Hills. The vision, a modern architect-designed dwelling with glass walls framing the landscape and a sweeping drive leading to the house, More ambitious plans have also been drawn up for a unique, light-filled 6-bedroom residence, expanding the possibilities for the historic site. The future of Cottage Gorse Farm is now in the hands of planners and visionaries, with the final decision resting with Wrexham Council. Whatever the outcome, the legacy of this land, its people, its stories and its enduring spirit will continue to shape Worthenbury for generations to come. Right, so we are inside what is known as Cottage Gorse Farm. So obviously this was the old kitchen. It's a big old place. Interesting wallpaper inside the kitchen cupboards there. Right, let's carry on through. Oh, I've got a big area here. As you can see, the ceiling is coming away. There's an old fireplace there. Got an old record. What's this? Country Breeze, Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain. Born to be with you. Got a big staircase here. Oh God, it's very dark up there. Some magazines on it. Premier League 96. Oh my goodness. David Ginola. Jamie Redknapp. Wow. Manga. Street Fighter 2. Interesting. Let's carry on through. Oh my goodness, look at this room. That fireplace. Wow, that's very nice. I love the cupboard by the fire. And the floor. Golf. Fireplace. What have we got on here? What's that? Is that backgammon? No? Mini chess. Nice little kettle. Is that a candle holder? Goodness me. Lovely building. Right, we've got a door going off there and we've got an archway going off here. Just going to have a look through here. I think it's just a... I think it's just where the meters and everything were. There's spiders. Yeah, so let's go through this door. Can't work out if there's a light on through there. There's the front door. Ooh, oh my god, look at that up there. Oh no, it's just light coming through the window. Oh my goodness. There's a door banging. I think it might just be outside. Big window. There's lots of adult magazines on the floor, but the big windows everywhere. Right, there are just doors going off everywhere. There's a staircase going up there. There's creepy vibes in this place. Creepy, creepy vibes. Oh, there's the mirror, the famous mirror. Yeah, there's I don't know if it's because it's really dark and there's doors banging, but there's a creepy vibe in this place. I think it's all like the doors and different rooms everywhere. That cupboard's lovely. It's the creepy mirror. It's suddenly gone very windy outside and I can hear things banging, which is just freaking me out. Right, just remembering where we've been. I think this just goes right. Where does this go? See, there's just rooms going off everywhere. That's underneath the stairs. Got another room in here. Just a little room. Looks like it might have been a downstairs bedroom. Yeah. So it might just be to go upstairs now. Oh, look, there's a big marble. Look at that. Right. I think it's time to go upstairs. Yeah, let's go upstairs. Looks very dark up there. Let's head upstairs then. Somebody's shoes. There's shoes at the top of the stairs. Hello? It's a bedroom here. There's a massive hole in the floor there, so we won't venture in there. Looks like there's been a fire. Let's carry on down. Definitely It looks like there's been a fire at some point, or is it water damage? Oof, dear. It doesn't look very healthy, does it? Probably won't be going in a lot of these rooms. Oh, there's lots of adult content magazines. Must have been a quiet life being a farmer. Yep, they seem to be everywhere. Oh, Teddy on the floor. Oh dear. Not long. Got a bathroom here. Oh, look at that fireplace in the bathroom. Oh, a lovely turquoise and pink combination going on there. Very nice. Do like that fireplace. Very Art Deco. Got another bathroom here. Looks like it was the original bathroom with the Victorian tiles. Someone's pulled out the bath. Oh, there's a Titanic over there. Carry on. This is the door that's banging round here. Oh my goodness. So that's the other staircase down, look. Wow, we've got a massive room here. Lovely fireplace again. Big room. Well, I know what I haven't spotted. I haven't spotted an attic and I haven't spotted a basement. But this is the view out the window. This is just a cupboard in here. Yeah, just a cupboard with spider's webs. But this is a lovely big room. Not sure about the purple. Right, so I'm pretty sure that is all upstairs. Like I said, I haven't seen any doors for an attic. I'll go down these stairs here, which I'd imagine would have been the servant stairs. I think we've seen all round inside. We'll go and have a look outside. Right, so we've got a few outbuildings. Should we look in the chest freezer? There we look. No, nothing interesting. But it's an interesting house. As you can see where it's been built on the back, look. The original house has been built on. And some very tasteful concrete blocks. So they're just old barns and stuff. I'll have a quick look round. See some big some big combine harvesters off in the distance there. But yeah, these are old cow sheds. Full of or sheep or something, full of poop. This one looks like it's been a storage shed for cars or old tractors or something.
you.